All right, so we're going to get into how I made my mechanical whale. I had an idea of making something mechanical for decades. I seen a movie called Sinbad. I think it was The Golden Voyage of Sinbad or something like that. I think it was 1973. Now in this movie, there were skeletons and they moved not like people but kind of like people, and so I always try to figure out how that movement was. So I decided that I would make something mechanical. I'm pretty good at building things that I guess you would call, like something like this would be like a fish or a whale or a bird or a tree. Very organic shapes. So, organic shapes, so they don't have to be perfect. Like if it was a building, you would want it to be absolutely square and perfect, but a whale, a fish, a tree, they could be close enough and they look great. They look great. So I started with a block of basswood, and then I made a template on the top and the sides. We carved that out, and then once you carve it out with a bandsaw, then you go ahead and whittle it down, sand it down. I used like a black with a little bit of blue in it. And that's really what that color is. It's black with a little bit of blue. Once I had that done, I put the eyeballs in there, but I used a caliper. They used a set of calipers, so that would so I automatically had them correct on either side. We have the paint done, we have the eyes done, the mouth, everything's done. So the next step is we need to cut it in segments. So I kind of figured we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 segments. So what I did is I just bandsawed the guy right across. Once I bandsawed him, then I took little hinges and I installed little hinges in each one of these segments. And it moved great. I had really good movement with it. But I had some serious challenges coming up. Now, I built this apparatus here kind of like a stage, somewhere to hold. I need some way to keep it up. So I built, I guess this would be like the crankshaft. Built the crankshaft, and I built this framework here. Now, that was fairly quick, fairly easy, not really a problem. What took me about 6 months was these wires here. Now those wires, I had an extreme amount of problems with. You get them too thin, the whale falls right over it. They're not rigid enough to hold up the weight of the animal. But they glide right through these openings. So I had to go through many iterations of what would work best to hold the whale, be flexible, work accordingly. So I came up with some solid brass here to go with the solid brass crankshaft. I also, I'm not sure if you can see it, but there are openings here and here and here. Got 3 openings, and I put a brass pipe insert so it doesn't rub on the wood. It just goes right through the metal. So you have metal on metal, doesn't stick, really fluid. Okay, so again, that took probably 6 months to figure that one out. Crankshaft took a couple hours, and then I used mahogany, and I used some type of maple here base, and it works pretty good. I mean, you can see where she works, not really. She works right along. Now, what I used as a finish on this so that it would be as smooth as possible is I used a paste finishing wax. Okay, so it's a regular finishing wax, paste finishing wax, so I would use on my tools so I could slide the wood back and forth. They would work real easy, and that's what I used as a finish on all the parts here. So I guess the entire project, as it was, it rested for several months as I got different types of wires to try to figure that out. But I'd probably take close to probably 60 hours, I guess, to put it all together. Now, I've never carved before, never. Now, I grew up, my father was a carver. In fact, I'd like to show you one of his. So this is one of my father's fish. This is a perch. See, he signed it here. There you go. It's got lead in the belly. These are all metal. These are all metal fins, and it's got an eyelet here, and he actually has scales. He burned the scales into this and he painted it. So I would watch him carve these. I'd watch him paint these, and he would sell these. He did this since the early 90s, but I never really thought too much of it. I mean, I'm very impressed with his work, but I always wanted to do something a little different. I've seen other reiterations, other ideas, other people have done similar projects as this. So this isn't like the only one that's out there, but this is the one I've made. Again, if you've never used wood, you've never carved wood, if you're not mechanically inclined, it could take some time. I pretty much had a pretty good idea on how I wanted to go with this, so it really wasn't that difficult. I had to have, I did replace the top of this several times because I had the holes drilled in the wrong place and had them over here, then I had them too tight. And so there's, there's some different problems I ran into, that's for sure. But that's the mechanical whale, and I made him a couple of years ago, I guess now. And yeah, since I watched that Sinbad movie, I always wanted to make something mechanical. I always thought a fish, a whale, a seal. I always had an idea of having a shark chase a seal. Now, I've seen somebody do like a very large scale of a shark chasing a seal. Very large. Thought it was beautiful. I just don't know if I have that much time to do that, but that is my mechanical whale, and that's how she goes. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, now we can show you a little more detail on the whale. All right, here's the brass inserts I put in. Here are the brass wires, the camshaft here, I guess that's crankshaft. Just like an engine, same type of deal. I attached them in the back with screws in the back, and I made this little handle here, and then she just moves right along. Is that little? I'm going a little slow so you can see, right? There you go. I think it's kind of cool. Maybe we'll do a little bit more. How's that? You know, it's like swimming right along. It's pretty fluid. It's not that bad, huh? Well, there you go. That's the close-up. I don't think you could see inside of here. I'd show you the hinges. I just don't think you can see them. I use piano hinges, and I cut them down and I wedged them in there. It's really hard to see them. I don't think you can. And that's it. It's pretty a basic, straightforward build. And now you got the close-up. You can see everything you could possibly see. I just wish I could have built it for you so you could have seen how I built it, but I guess this is as good as it gets for post build. Okay, thank you. See you on the next one.